So I'm going to show you how to put together a large rose from the Giant Flowers cartridge by Cricut. This cartridge is available in Design Space, and you just look for the Giant Flowers and it's the rose. So when you cut all your pieces, you'll end up with, just from the flower, you'll end up with, this is your base where your flower will sit. You will have 7 of the large petals. You will have 5 of the small petals and 3 of the middle petals. Your center of your flower is this one, and this is the piece where all of your flower petals will sit. I have color coded them in the video just so it'd be easier to figure out where they go. I will add the link below for the directions if you would like to follow the directions that Cricut has available, but I don't follow the directions exactly. I do a couple little different things, so I thought I'd make a video so you could see how this works. For the next part, I curl all of the top edges of my flower petals out so it looks like a natural curling flower petal. So what I do is, for mine I use a Apple pencil, but you can use anything that is thin in width and is kind of slick. You don't want anything with ridges or anything. It might make some impressions on your paper that you won't want to have. So what I do is I flip it over, place it on the top, catch it at the edge, and roll till I get almost to the end of the slit. It'll be almost there. And then let go, and your petal will be curled back. And then you'll be ready to put your glue and glue all of your petals together. So once you get all your petals curled like this, you're going to take your glue and you're going to adhere along this line. I use this little finger protector. It's silicone so I don't burn myself. I don't remember where I got this. It might have been from Amazon or one of your local craft stores. So you just apply your hot glue right along that line. And once you get that line, you're going to take the side that you marked and you're going to adhere it right over the top. Get it as close as the edge as possible, and then I just pinch it together. That's why I use this little thing so I don't burn my fingers. Each petal will look like this, so you will continue to put your petals together, glue them, and curl them outwards so you have a curled petal. Now that all your flower petals are curled back and adhered with hot glue, now it's time to start assembling your flower. You're going to start with your center. You're going to, after you curled it out, you're going to take your tab, you're going to curl it around and insert it in the first line. Once you insert it in the first line, you flip it over and you're going to attach it with some hot glue so that it stays together while you put in the second tab. This part, I do follow the directions from the Cricut cartridge, but then once I keep going, I do change it up just a little bit, just because it's easier to do it a different way, I found, than doing it the way in the directions. But feel free to use whichever way you like. I just found that this way is easier for me to put it together. Once you get that second part in, you want to put a little bit of glue on the end, and you're going to insert your second tab right inside, and then hold together a bit until it glues. This part will just set inside your flower, so you can just curl it out, and this will be the center of your flower. Once you get this together, you just want to set it aside because now you're going to do your petals. To insert your petals, I color coded my petals so I know which ones need to go in which spot. I always start with this one. That's the part that I do use from the Cricut directions. I start with the smaller size petal, and then the medium size petal, and the larger size petal at the end. So to adhere your petals to this, what I do is you flip it over, but look for that color that you attached and kind of open it just a little bit and insert that little tab right inside that little slit that's there. Once you get it so that it sits flush on the back side, you want to hold it in place and put a tiny dot of glue right underneath that tab, right at the base of that line. If you put it any further down, it might interfere with your next petal that you're going to put on. So you want to put it just right underneath. If you get a little bit extra, that's okay, but as long as this in part is still free, because you have another slit right below. And you're just going to continue on with that same color that is color coded and insert your next one in until you move all the way around and get all of your petals in. And I glue after each one that I insert, so then that way when I get to the end they don't fall out. I have had issues in the past where I didn't do it like this, that the petals tend to fall out towards the end, and then you have to start over and insert all your petals again. So I do them one at a time, inserting in glue so that they don't fall out. Now, once all your petals are glued on, you're going to curl this inside piece, and then once you curl the inside piece, you're going to fold over your whole flower, and there's a slit that's on the inside of your petals. Might be a little hard to see. There's a slit right here. You won't be able to get the tab all the way in, but what I try to do is get it as close as possible on the top so that it holds your flower in place, because this bottom part here is where your base is going to be attached. So you curl this part in, hold it together as you curl it, and bring in the rest of your flowers as close as you can get, and you're going to put some glue on this tab here, and you're going to pull it all the way until you get to that tab, and you're going to hold and press until your flower is in place, and your flower will start to look now like a rose. Once you get that attached, we have our base. We're going to set this aside so we can put our flower base on. What we're going to do is, it has this part that has these little tabs. You want to fold them in, and you want to fold this part up, because this is going to be the little cup part that the bottom of your flower is going to sit in. It has this small little tab here. What you're going to do is fold this around, and there's a tiny little slit here. You want to pull this over to the top and carefully put that little tab inside of that little slit there, and that will hold together. What you can do is on the inside put a little dab of hot glue so that that doesn't come apart. I just like to hold it there for a second so that it doesn't come apart, so I can put the base on. These little base little parts, you're going to put a little bit of glue on each, and it's going to slip right inside that base. Just fold it in, each one, and it just pops right inside. These fold flat out because now this little cup part becomes your base for your flower. And what I do is I just start adding a lot of glue around the edge and put quite a bit in there so that my flower won't want to come back out. And then this part that we have with the tabs, all of that is going to just drop right inside of that base. And that will hold the flower in place. It's okay if you get a little bit of glue on the outside while it's wet. You can just use one of these and take the little piece off. And this will hold your flower in place. You might want to hold it for a little bit so that it doesn't want to come off. But all your flower petals are now attached. You might want to take a little bit of time and curl them back out a bit. What I do is I like to look at my flower and see how it's sitting, because each one's different. Because it's paper and the way you fold it, the way you crease it, it might fold a little bit different. So what I do with your center that you set aside before, put a little bit of glue, and it's going to drop right in the center of your flower. To secure some of the outside pieces, if they seem like they want to kind of fall a little bit out, just put a little bit of dab of glue underneath some of your petals and pull them together and hold. If some of your flower petals aren't going the way that you want, just take a little bit of time and just kind of pull them around together. The two large flower petals, I just crease it right along the side and put a little bit of glue down the side and then just right on the top, and just kind of loosely, wherever you'd like, attach it to the bottom. This just gives the flower a little bit more dimension and helps complete your flower. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep looking out for more videos. I will have more videos soon. Thanks for watching.